to 7 Eastern times the scene. Keep life's workshops live on your favorite screen. From the White Mountains, she's bringing you the keys to unlock your potential, set your content free. Whether you're just starting or you're on the rise, this is where you'll find those golden allies. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Each week a new topic, fresh ideas to explore. Community features, inspiration galore. Actionable steps to help you grow. Posting goals to keep your progress in flow. Whether you're just starting or you're on the rise, this is where you'll find those golden allies. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Bring your question to the Afterspace. X is where we'll meet face to face. Share your thoughts, show up your progress. Together we'll navigate the social congress. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on X and the gram. Turn those notifications on, be part of the fam. Visit Kate's website for even more. Support the stream, see what's in store. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Create and connect every Sunday night. With Kate as your guide, your future's bright. From the White Mountains to your screen, join the workshop, live out your dream.
Hi, welcome. Thank you, Darby. I saw you in the chat. I can't reply, unfortunately, with on X, but thank you for jumping in, and I'm glad you liked the song. That was a new add-on for the countdown. You know, make it a little more interesting, a little more fun. So I hope everyone's having a great weekend and you have been having a wonderful time. I have been working. I always work on the weekends because I just like to enjoy the weekdays. Those are my jam. But I'm excited about tonight. We're going to get into it. And yes, get in the chat. Say hi. Darby's in there sending her love. So get in there and chat on X, on YouTube, wherever you're at, and say hi to whoever's there, because this is where you're going to make connections. And a lot of what I'm talking about here is create and connect. We want to create content and we want to connect with others like us. And so that's what this is all about. So you have to get in the chat and start talking to people, meet people. The people I've met are just amazing. So I want all of you to connect. So wherever you're watching, if you drop in the chat, I can make sure that you find the right people, because I am streaming to Facebook and YouTube and X. So it depends where you're at, if you'll be able to see the people, but I can see everybody's chat and tell you if you want to go somewhere else to start chatting with people. First, before I get started, the topic of today is going to be about discovering your unique value, figuring out why you should be posting on social media. What should you be posting? Why would anyone want to listen to me? What do I have to talk about? What's interesting? And we're going to get into it. So, but first I got to do a little bit of promotion here. I'm going to first show this slide here. Let's show it. There we go. This is the QR code that will take you to the workshop page on my website. And it's going to have all the replays of all the recordings. So I do this every Sunday, and these videos are all going to be there in kind of like a course layout. So it's easy to follow along, easy to catch up if you missed one. This is the second week. So there was a video last week, if you missed it, where we went into if you're a person or a brand, and we're going to do the recap on that in a minute. And so you can always go there. And then I also have workbook pages that you can do. You can download and print out if you really want to do the work that I talk about in these videos, to just take yourself to the next level, especially if you're struggling. If you're really struggling to kind of make a connection with other people, and that's what social media is all about. It's about making connections with other people. So if that's the problem, I can help with that. If your concern is the algorithm and how to beat the code and all this stuff, I'm not your person. I can definitely direct you to the people who can help with that. There's people way better at understanding how the algorithm works than me. But what I help you is when you do figure out that algorithm, or when you do decide to go on social media and start posting, you know what to post, and you know you are confident and you're excited about it and you wanted to share it with everybody. And then that gets the right people to find you. So that's what this is all about. So that's how you get to the page. You can also get to my website, katebly.com/create, or any page on my website. It'll be right at the top. So you can find your way there very easily. Everything's free on there. I just require you to sign up so I can make sure that the people in there are legit. Go in there, sign up, and find everything you need. Next thing. This says thank you. Of course, always thank you for coming. Thank you so much for watching. Always wonderful to see everyone here. After the live stream today, I do a live audio discussion, Afterspace, only on X. So you can go there. You can just listen to other people talk about this subject that I'm going to talk about today. You can bring your ideas, your thoughts. Where was I getting wrong? What didn't make sense? Do you have a different idea on how to approach things than me? I love hearing that. I'm not going to be the expert. I am just another person that knows and has experience. I'm not saying that everything I do is perfect. So this is where the discussions happen, is in the Afterspace. Last week was a fantastic discussion about person versus brand, how you portray yourself on social media. This week, we're going to get into finding your unique value. So this is going to be a fantastic one to talk about. And you're welcome to join the discussion, or you're welcome to just listen. You can even listen anonymously if you don't want to be anyone to know you're on X or whatever. So there's the QR code for that. You can also find this link below wherever you're watching this video. You should be able to find that link. If you can't, you can always go to my website and find it. Okay, so that's what's going on today. I'm also going to do a little promo because I'm doing this for free. So I'm going to talk about StreamYard, and we're going to get into this soon, guys. I promise. I just got to get this stuff out of the way. StreamYard is what I'm using right now to bring this live stream to you. I'm streaming to Facebook, I'm streaming to YouTube, and I'm streaming to X at the same time. I can see the comments in all the chats, and I can see Becky in the chat. I can see Stockholm Spectrum in the chat. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And Darby's here. And hopefully we've got some more people in here. So get in the chat, say hi, connect with these people, because these are the people you want to follow. These are the people you want to get around with, because they're active, they're interested, they want to grow. So those are the people you want around you. So using StreamYard is about live streaming. You can record videos with it. I record a lot of tutorials with it, when I want to have my face in there. And if you use my referral link, you get a $10 credit to any paid subscription. And they do free trials too. So you can try it out for, I think, a week and test it out and see if you like the features. And they even have a free plan. So you can get started on the free plan. There's no reason not to do it. So there's the QR code to take you to through my referral link. So you get that $10 credit. You can also find the link below wherever you're watching this video. So I appreciate that. And we'll take that down. Thanks so much. If you use my link, I really do appreciate it because I want to keep doing these videos. I don't want to have to get a job and have to work at a gas station. So like, let's get this going, right, guys? All right, exciting. Woohoo! All right, did all that. See, I have my checklist off screen here so I don't go completely off the rails. We did that. We did that. Talked about the workshop today. It's about finding your unique value. What is it about you that people want to know? What is it about you that's worth posting about? Do you have any skills? Do you know anything? We're going to figure this out because this is a problem for a lot of people where they get stuck. And I'm going to get into it. We're going to get deep today. And then in the Afterspace, I want to hear what everyone else has to think about it. And yes, a reminder that the workbook pages are on the website. I already showed you that. And I also want to remind everybody, I will I want to be engaged with anyone that's actually participating and doing the work on these, what I'm talking about. So please, if you post something, tag me wherever you're at. You can be on Instagram, you can be on X, you can be on Facebook, wherever you're starting. Be sure to tag me in anything that you want me to see, because what I want to do here is I want to feature people from the community that are doing something that's growing and trying to follow along with what I'm sharing. So I want to feature those people. I want you to follow those people. I want to, everyone to get along and have a great time and share their wins and all that stuff. So please consider doing that, and I'll remind you later too. Let's see. Okay. Now, we talked about that. We talked about that. All right. Oh, I forgot to upload my slides. Can you believe it? All this prep, I didn't do that. This isn't going to take me long. I only have 2 slides, but we're going to get into it. The topic is discovering your unique value. And thank you so much, everyone who's joining tonight. Let me get these slides up so we can get started on the topic. There's 1 and there's 2. Okay, so we have to figure out why people want to listen to you, what you have to offer, what you can share with the world. And if you're like, I don't have anything to share with the world, you're not looking. And I'm going to help open your eyes so you can figure this out. All right, so the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out your background, understand your background and your unique value. And the best way to do this is to actually write your timeline. And I know most people will not do this. I am fully aware most people will not do this. But everyone that has done this has gone through an incredible breakthrough. Okay? Physically writing out what your life puts it in front of your face, and you see everything that you've done. When you do your timeline of your life, you put your personal moments. This is just for you. No one's going to see this. I'm not going to say, hey, screenshot it and post it on the internet. That's not what this is about. This is just for you. You need to see this, especially if you're struggling with this. If you're really struggling with why would people want to hear me, what I have to say, you do this and it'll change the game for you, okay? Your personal, anything personal, significant in your life that's defined you, that's been a moment that good things, graduating college, getting a promotion at work, or bad things, so like things that maybe you don't want to talk about, but they still define you. These are not things that you have to talk about publicly on social media. This is for you. But I'm telling you, this will change the game. So personal, your professional. I got promoted at work. I got fired. I went to college for 3.5 years and dropped out. I had an addiction problem. I overcame it, or I'm still working on it. Or there was something, I got married, I had family, all these things. And you put it in chronological order and you see it, okay? And you see that laying out in front of you, it changes everything. It changes everything. And even beyond that, you can put who who you were at the time. Okay, and I put in parentheses here, if you're looking at the slide, at the top of the slide, it says, who were you? And it has noun in parentheses. So like, who were you? A child? Were you a student? Were you a teacher? Were you an educator? Were you a, whatever your profession was? Were you a father? Were you a mother? Were you a daughter? Like the situations, each of these moments on your timeline, the key experiences, you label them with who you were. And now you see, wow, look at all this stuff. Look at all these things that I know about, all these experiences that I know about. And it doesn't mean you have to talk about these on social media. That's not what I'm saying. But you'll start to see what value you can add, because when you see it all laid out like that, you realize no one else has lived this. No one else has done what you have done in your experiences. And so you can offer a perspective that no one else has on whatever it is you want to talk about. Your perspective is one of a kind, and you can offer that, and people will be intrigued because they've never experienced what you've experienced all together in a lifetime. And it doesn't, you could be a teenager and do this. It's the same. It's the same, right? And then besides who you were, the actual noun of who you were, how were you? How were you? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you elated? Were you joyful? Were you struggling? What are these adjectives that describe you at these key moments? Okay, so it takes a lot of work to do this, and most people don't do this. Most people don't do this, and people put it off and put it off. And you should start to think about, I'm just going to pull this down so that I can talk to you. You'll start to think about, why do that? I know what I did. Oh, I can think it. I can think it. But something happens when you write it down and you see it. And you could do it on, I guess, on the computer and type it out if you wanted to. But you have to see it, and writing it out on a blank piece of computer paper, or you can print out the workbook page that I've created, and you can use that as a template to help you, because I kind of break it down into the different parts of your life. And so people won't do it. I know most people here watching won't do it. But why won't you do it? What's that block about? What's that about? Why wouldn't you, so this is another layer to this. It's like there's something blocking you from doing that. And that's something to think about too, because it is the fear of like really seeing it in black and white. Like maybe there was a failure. Like I have a failure that haunts me. I'm not perfect. And to write that down will be very hard. But you know what I realized when I did it? There was probably 10, 15, 20 other things that were amazing, that I was so proud of, and that I forgot about. And then I realized, oh, I can do this. Why do I think I can't do this? Why do I think I can't do this? Just because of one failure, right? So I think this is a big thing, and I really want you to highly consider doing this week. I'm going to bring this banner back. Where is it? Because there's another thing on here. So when we write our timeline, you kind of see it all laid out. And this is getting heavy, guys. I'm sorry. I know the song was all upbeat and all this stuff, but I'm putting these early on in this workshop series. This is going to go on for a long time. I have lots of stuff to talk about, but this is one of the early ones that you want to get done and out of the way, because it's so hard to do the rest of it if you don't. Okay. And you can try, but this is the shortcut, right? This is the shortcut I'm giving you. So when you write out your timeline and you just see it all there, see everything, now you can understand your story. The story that we tell ourselves, right? So for me, it was that failure, and it just keeps coming back. Oh, if I had only done this different, if I just done this, if I just, but I see my timeline, I see my, I'm like, wow, I had a good run for a while. I had a lot of achievements. Why don't I focus on those? Why isn't that the main part of my story? So I can write my story however I want, right? And I can tell it however I want. So I can look at that and rewrite my story. And it's 100% true. No lies in there. So we here say, understand your story. That's for you. That's just for you, your story. You write it down. I recommend writing it down. You don't have to, but writing down your story can be helpful. And you can put that in and commit that to memory. And that's the story you tell yourself and you tell other people, right? But what it's going to do is rewrite your narrative. And your narrative is what you tell everyone else. That's what you tell other people. So when you walk into a room and someone asks you who you are, or you get kind of deep with someone in a conversation, what do you tell them? What's that narrative you tell them? What's that version of your story, right? There's always something different that we tell other people versus what we tell ourselves. So doing your timeline, you can do all of this work and really figure it out, okay? And once you write your story, you can tear it up, throw it away, burn it, whatever, and you can write your narrative. And now you have your narrative and you can share that everywhere. You can condense it down to one sentence, and now that's your social media bio. You can make it a long form post, and that's an introduction to people to get to know you. You can read it in front of a camera, and that's another way to say, hey, this is me. You can change the wording a little bit, and that's your about me. Okay, so these are all things, this is something that's very useful and very powerful to have in your pocket and know inside and out for your social media content. You'll dip into this well time and time again. All right, how cool. I hope some people do this. This was one of the hugest breakthroughs for me. And I will share more about it. I think I'll share more about it this week in my social media posts. This is more about just kind of giving you guys the information. You do what you want with it. But I'll share more of my story and my breakthroughs and everything I went through in my social media posts this week. So if you're curious, I'm going to post it. I'm going to show you. Now, the next part is advice for your past self. So this is where you can kind of start to get content ideas out of your timeline. Okay, so you are educating yourself, okay, from afar, from the future, essentially. So you look at your timeline and you find a moment there that was a key experience, a key moment that maybe changed, your path, a turning point maybe, or an achievement that you're proud of. Anything. It can be positive, it can be negative, right? And you want to just talk to yourself at that point. What would you tell yourself to help navigate that experience? What advice would you give? What would you say to change or do the same? You're doing great. And I try to say with this kind of thing, when this is more of a mental exercise. You don't have to write it down, but it can be helpful to write this stuff down because this is where your content will start to be born. This will be where your content starts to be born, okay, is this stuff. And I'm not saying exactly word for word what you're going to write or put down or think about, but it will drive you in the direction that you didn't realize you needed to go. And it can change the game for your content, okay? So you'll talk to your past self. What would you advise? And I recommend trying to avoid thinking in platitudes. Keep your chin up, or you're doing great. This isn't the stuff that would help you, right? Think about the things, the words, the things you'd say, the things you'd do, the things you'd offer that would really actually help you. So thinking of a scenario. When I finished college, for photography. I wasn't sure what to do. And I just worked full time in a completely different career and forgot about photography for a long time. And I could talk to myself at that time, at that graduation, that great achievement that I did that I was so proud of. And it was, I went for a photography degree. I could say to myself, oh, it's okay. You'll get to it. It may take 10 years, but you'll get to it. You know, that's not what I'd want to hear at my graduation from photography school. That's going to take me 10 years to get back into it. You know, so I might use this example and post about it this week. You know, what would I really say to myself at that time? You know, would I say, hey, just live at home. Just live at home for a while. Don't worry about making tons of money or having your own place. Go work out your dream. Start now. You can do it. Something like that. Or was the choice I made the right choice because I had student loans I had to pay? That's a reality. Those don't just vanish or disappear. Well, depends what year you went to school, but I had to pay mine. And I didn't have any money. My parents didn't have any money, so I was on my own. So I had to work, right? Wonder if I would have done something different. It's hard to say. And I'm not saying that I'm like, oh, boo-hoo. But what's this advice? Now, could I be a person that provides advice for people graduating from photography school and how to navigate that? How to, you know, that's a possibility of some content there because I can speak to that experience. Is that content I want to create? No, not really. I don't think that it's that great, but maybe for you, it would make sense. So this is where you can start to mine ideas. And they aren't all winners. Like that one example, like, yeah, it really means a lot to me, but it's not a winner. Maybe sharing the story about how I graduated college and worked for 10 years in a completely different field to pay off the student loans before I could actually start the career that I went to college for. That would be an interesting essay. And that could be content I could create, you know? So there is stuff there. So I hope this makes sense. It can seem like kind of like, why would I do this? But if you're stuck, this is the kind of thing that breaks you through. And you almost come out of it with too much stuff. And I have paper everywhere, all this stuff written down. And it just goes on and on and on. I have a never-ending supply of content, because I've done this. And when you're writing out like your advice to your past self, it's important to attach some sort of an emotion to it, if it's positive or negative, and try and find the positive in it, because we do want to try and keep things positive, I think, in general. But if the reality is negative, the reality is negative. And that might get more clicks. I don't know. All right. And it's funny, I launched right into this and I forgot to recap last week. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute and I'm going to recap last week's workshop and how it relates to this. Because you may be thinking, okay, I'm a content creator. I'm a person putting myself out there. But what if you have a brand and you're not putting your face on it? This stuff isn't necessarily making sense, right? So if you're a logo or a brand and you're not putting yourself out as yourself, this may not make sense at all. So I'm going to clear up all that. Last week we talked about are you putting yourself out there as a person or as a brand? Okay, and the idea is people want to interact with people on social media. And I really tried to drive home the idea of how you use social media. How do you use it? What do you like? What do you enjoy? What do you find yourself doing while you're on there? And do you expect more from your followers than what you do? And then if you're putting yourself out there, if you're on social media and you don't follow any brands and you don't interact with any brands, but you're putting yourself out as a brand, do you expect people to interact with you? So it's a decision you have to make if you are a brand on social media or if you are a person. And you could say, oh, I'm a personal brand. Well, you're a person. It's that personal brand. I don't know. Sure. I have branding. I have fonts I use. I have colors I use. I guess that's branding, my persona, myself that I'm putting out there. So it just seems cohesive and it all comes together and makes sense. But it's still me. It's just me. I picked the fonts and colors because I like them, you know. And I don't think of it as me as a personal brand. I just think of me as a person, and I'm putting out there what I do. So this is up for debate. I'm not saying this is the only way to think about things, but this is how I approach stuff. So now when we talk about the whole timeline exercise, if you decided to go as a route as a brand, which is, I think, a harder route, especially to maintain over time. But there are certain reasons why you might want to do that. If, for example, you are trying to build something that you can like sell someday, then that's in a scenario where a brand is a better path. But you probably still should have yourself out there as, you know, the person at the top of the pyramid with your brands below you, you know. So that's a way to kind of look at an approach for social media with brands. But how does the timeline fit in? I'm going to take a sip here. I might look in the chat. We've got a lot of people in the chat. And we've got Becky in here. We've got Christopher in here. Hi, everybody. Do what? Write a narrative, Becky says. Yeah. Yeah. So the story is what we tell ourselves, the story. And that's for us. The narrative is what we tell everyone else. Because we know people when they tell their story, you're just like, oh boy. Oh boy. Give us the pitch. Tell us the highlights. What actually does define you and is important. That's your narrative. That's all you need to communicate. You know, you're not dating everyone on the internet. You don't need to confess like your entire world to them. You know, sometimes I end up doing that, guilty, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can tell them whatever you want. So that's your narrative. And we associate that as a negative term, I guess, you know, story versus narrative. But it's true. You know, it's that you're spinning your life to put it out there. And it's not about lying or making things up. It's just cherry picking what makes sense. You know, I talk about some things that, you know, didn't work out for me because that's just as much of a part of me as all the things I did well. And there's no shame behind any of it. It's just what happened. So that's why it's in my narrative. So when we're talking about a brand as a timeline, so now you're telling the story of your brand, breaking that down, the whole timeline of that. And then a lot of it may be you know, if it's something that you built from scratch. So you may be going back quite a while when you first had this idea. So for me, like I could use my wedding photography business that I used to have as an example for this, as a brand, because I did put that out as a brand, not as me. It was a brand. It was a logo. This has all ties to, you know, oh, I don't want to tarnish my name if something goes wrong, or just fear of putting yourself out there as the soul. And it's funny because before that, I did put myself out there, but I thought that it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't enough when I really started just really going after weddings. I thought it wasn't enough to just be me. When I realized very soon after, no, it's me. It's just me. People want around them. They don't want a logo. They don't want a logo. I could use the example of the timeline of that business. You know, I started it in 2015 or 2015, 2016. But the idea of it came years before. And I went to a special program in 2015 to really learn more about wedding photography specifically, because it had been so long since I finished photography school. So that was all part of it. And then actually my photography school was 10 years before, and that was part of it because there was a lot I learned there. And then, oh yeah, I took photography class in high school. That's where I first started it. And before that, my mom gave me a camera when I was 10 for me to play around. So you can see now it's like, oh, it's just a brand or a logo, but there's so much more to it than just I started the company in 2016. I serve this area of New Hampshire. You know, there's way more to it beyond that. And do I have to share that whole story of getting a camera when I was 10 for my mom, or loading my first roll of film and stuff? Sure, I could write that. That might make a neat social media post, actually. But it's not in my narrative or my about page. Maybe it is. It depends what's important to you. So even if you are just putting yourself out as a brand, the timeline exercise can really help you find focus, find clarity in what you're doing, and give you a wealth of content ideas that you will be lousy with content ideas. You won't even know what to do with them all. So I hope you do it. I hope you do it. And yes. Let's get into, did I not upload? Did I upload it? The goal of the week. Is it time for the goal of the week yet? I want to wait a little bit before I do the goal of the week. I'm going to do another, please use my links banner. So I use CARD, CARD, for a lot of websites for my clients when you just need a simple one-page website or landing page. And you can use the QR code here, my referral link, that's below the video, wherever you're watching this, and it supports my content. Okay, so I also have a free course and template for anyone who's starting out and is curious about building a website. You can get that on my website. The link is there, katebly.com/free-course. You also find that link below the video, wherever you're watching. If you want to get started building your own website, a simple one-page website or landing page. And why do I like CARD? Because it's easy. I like it because it's cheap. It's affordable. Their highest tier plan is $49 a year, and you get all their features. So that's the one I use, and you get 25 websites with it. And so I build client sites with it. I can host the client site if I want, or I can just pass it off to the client. I can build websites for me, for all my random ideas and crazy wild ideas, test things. Oh, it's a fantastic way to test things. You can put all your links out there. You can use it as a business card. You can think that's kind of the premise of it, is a social business card, something. So you can use my QR code to check them out and sign up, or my link in the description. And if you really like what you see when you go there, but you need some help, check out my free course. That'll help with that. Okay. Thank you. I do appreciate that because I would love to keep continuing to do this. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about how my timeline, I wrote out my timeline, and then I was able to really actually be like, oh, I can do websites. Why can't I do websites? Why can't that be the thing that I do? Why can't that be the thing that I do? And then all of the things that I've done over, I started it must have been the late 90s when I started doing it. It's just so wild to think about. And all the things that I learned and how I built my own website for my wedding business. And it was so successful because of that website. And now I can do that for other people because I don't, this is something that I can do for other people instead of for myself. So cool. So that part of it really drove that home for me. And then that fact that the information that I know and have done and used and practiced and done throughout my life, I can talk to you about it and let you know what worked for me. And you can try it and hopefully it will work for you too. I think it will. And when it comes to websites, the advice I give, that's pretty much how it works. That's how I help you, in my videos, in my tutorials on my website, on my channels. Or if you hire me to do it, for, build something for you, however that looks. Now, how it comes to social media, you find out a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff you learn over time as far as realizing your value and being able to put yourself out there as a website, it translates very well to social media as well, because social media is just information. And once all you have to do is get that information, the content you create, to the right person. You have to find that right person. And this is what this whole workshop is about. I'm leading you to your audience so they can find you. That's the goal. Because if you don't put out what is you, they're not going to find you. They're going to find someone else, and they may not like you because you're not putting out what's actually your content. You're putting out whatever you think people like. And that's what all this is about. Okay, so I put out the content that I put out because I want to attract the people that like that content. I want to attract those people. And my content's all over the place. I'm the first to admit it. I'm not very focused on it. I need to get better. Trying to get better at that. We're all trying to get better at it, right? But there's people out there that really like the stuff I post, and it resonates with them. And those are the people that I want to reach and I want to have following me, right? I don't want just a bunch of bots following me that have no interest in my content. So that's what this whole series is about. And I mined all this content for these workshops that I'm going to be doing. I mean, I'm going to do these every Sunday for the foreseeable future. I have so many of these already done. My prep for this is just posting everywhere so I can get people to show up. I've already done all this. This is all done. I could go for 12 hours talking about this because I have it all here ready to go. And once you have that established, because you've done this kind of work with the timeline and figuring out if you're a person, you're a brand, and then the things we're going to talk about next week and the week after, this is how it all comes out. And you realize how much content you have. And I know for every Sunday for the next year, I can do a workshop like this and have something to talk about for an hour to an hour and a half. I mean, that's wild to think about. It's actually, and if you had asked me this 6 months ago, I would not have thought I could do this. No, not in a million years. No way. No way. So some awesome breakthroughs can happen with this stuff. So I hope you'll think about doing it. All right, so we're going to get to the goal for the week. Now, I don't have the competition mindset. I don't have it. It actually kind of turns me off. It's just how I'm built. So it's a goal for the week. No pressure to do it. I hope you do it. And if you do, I hope you tag me or at least send me a DM with the post so I can like it and see what you're doing. And if I like it enough, if you're lucky enough, I'll pick you and I'll share it here. And you can meet all the people who are watching. I've got 84 people watching. I got 84 people watching. I got the number right on my screen in front of me. You could have your post, your social media account in front of those people right now, and they could go follow you. So think about that too. You're doing all this work. Why aren't you putting yourself out there this way in a way to really connect with some awesome people? Because I know I pre-vet everyone that shows up for my stream and actually sits here and listens to what I say. They are all automatically cool and they're automatically awesome. There's no way that anyone unawesome is watching this unless they're, a bot. That's the only exception. There's nothing I can do about bots. They'll just do what they do. All right, here's the goal for the week. Create a post of your narrative, okay? So this can be a long form written post, a video of you telling it, or a combination of the two, okay? If you're struggling with this, writing your narrative, what you want to share with people, write your story again, your story from your heart, from your timeline, look at it, write it, and do it again if you're still struggling. If you're struggling, it means you're not getting it. Okay? Because once you get it, you're going to have that light bulb spark and you're going to be like, thank you, Kate. I can't believe I waited so long to do this. Okay? And you can post a narrative. Your narrative is whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you want it to be. Okay? It doesn't have to be everything. It's whatever you want to share. And then you're going to notice, you're going to get some really good comments. These always bring out really good comments. If the people that follow you are looking at your content and reading it, they're going to see this and they're going to comment. Okay? And when they do comment, respond to those comments. Thank those people or add some value to the response. Give them some insights into who you are and see what happens. And you can tag me or send me a DM with your post, and maybe you can get featured next week. Okay? Because I'll be back here next week, next Sunday. Next Sunday, next Sunday is going to be a good one. They're all good ones. But next week, did I make a card for this? No, I didn't. Next week is we're going to meet your ideal follower. We're going to meet your ideal follower. Who's the person that you want following you? Who is that person? We're going to meet them. And then guess what? Once we meet them, we can make content just for them. And you're going to meet more of them. And you're going to meet more of them. And you're going to have them all around you. And you're going to love being online. And it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun when you meet those people. Because this is the part of social media. Okay, it's about meeting people. If you're posting and running, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you're not responding to comments, if you're not interacting, if you're not using the app, it's not going to work. You have to get in there. You have to network. You have to meet new people. And you're going to, but the thing is with this, with what I'm walking you through each week with this, those people you're actually going to like. For the most part. There's always the exceptions. But for the most part, you're going to really like those people and you're going to be really happy they found you. You're going to be like, whoa, where were these people before? Okay. So this is what we want. We want to find the right people. And honestly, I want to just say the places where I found the right people for me, the people that I've connected with and had a great time meeting on social media has been through other networks of like-minded people. So this is how you meet people. So this is just me doing that same thing, paying that thing forward that I got from other communities. And don't just use me, use the other ones. There's lots of people doing this kind of thing out there. You got to find the ringmaster. You got to find that person who's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing people together every week or every day or a couple times a week, or even if it's just once a month. They're trying to bring people together to, build themselves up, sure, but you all grow together. And that's what I want to start doing here. And that's why I'm kind of starting this. You're probably like, wow, you don't have that many followers. What are you doing? Well, this is where you start. You start without many followers. This is how you start. We all start. And I talk about email lists. It's the same thing. Everyone's email list starts at 0. So why not just start one? What matters? Are you going to have 0 now? Or are you going to have 0 in 3 months? Or are you going to have 0 now and then in 3 months you'll have 6 people? Or, so just start doing it. If you have 100 people following you, if you have 50 people following you, just start reaching out to people. Start doing this homework that I give you. Go to the website. If you missed last week, go to my website, watch the replay, get the workbook pages, read the slides, watch the videos again, skip the parts that you want. You can fast forward, zoom around. These are all on the workshop page, course page. I guess it's a course page. you'll see the weeks as they get released. I can show this actually. I did want to show this to you guys so you can see it. So you don't have to be scared about going in there. Just doing this off screen for a second. I hope everyone is having a great night. And I know this is a little bit intense, what I talk about. And I don't expect everyone to do it, but I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. Here it is. Okay. And then I have to just go back here, add, and then I move myself over here. Okay. So when you sign up on my website where it says create and connect, this is what you get into. All right. You always find all the links to whatever I've coming up. So we've got the 21st lockdown. We've got the 28th lockdown. So 21st is today. Those will disappear. Then we have the 28th coming up. So you can add these to your calendar. You can be ready to go. You scroll down. You'll see there's all these categories and things, but there's not much content, you see, because the content doesn't come out until I release it on the Sundays. So at each week, you're going to see this grow. I've got, I think, 4 lessons in this one. We've got 3 lessons in this one, 4 or 5 in this one, and it just keeps going and going. So you can always access it here. And if you sign up, you can come back at any time. So if you can't make it on Sundays, you can always come back. You can watch the videos. When you're done, you can check it. I've done it in the little progress bar. So when you're caught up, it says 100%. But next week, there'll be a new video here. So you'll be back down again. So you can watch the videos. And then when you open these, give this a second here. It loads up. We have the video here. It's on YouTube. So you can skip parts. You can fast forward. You can jump around. You can zoom me up to 2x or whatever you want to do to speed through these. You can listen to them a bunch of times if you want. And then you also find the download for the workbook pages. I'm not showing the workbooks on here, so you have to go get these. But if you're having trouble with like the concepts and the things I'm telling you that would help you, the workbook just kind of has like grids and graphs and places for you to fill in information if you like that kind of thing. I kind of like that kind of thing. I like to print out pages and write in things. So that's available for you if you want it. And then also the replay of the Afterspace, which is going to be happening at 8:30, where we're going to discuss this more. It's going to be more of an open forum. This has been just me talking at you, but I want to hear what you have to say and answer your questions as well. And I also want to hear your thoughts and opinions on all this stuff. So you get the, if you can't make it to that, you can always listen to the replay. Those will always be available. As far as I know, if X takes those down over time, I don't know. I try and capture the recordings, but not always. We also have all the slides. So you can look at the slides that I showed. You can find those. And then I have the goal for the week. So no matter when you come to this, if you miss a week, you can always get the posting goal of the week. You can always get all the slides. You can get the workbook download, and you can get the video. It's all right here. So this is why I built this for you guys, and we're going to go week by week. So you can jump in at any time. And if there's anyone that you know that you think might benefit for this, you can send them to this page, and they can sign up and they can start getting into it without having to, wait for a Sunday live or something. So I just wanted to share that with you in case anyone didn't know it was there. And this is the QR code will take you to the page, or you can go to katebly.com/create, and the links are below the video wherever you're watching. Okay, woo. Let's make me full screen. Hey, okay. All right, time for a sip of water. All right, that one really good. That one really good. Let's see, what did I forget? We did the goal for the week, writing your story. I can show that again if we need that. But let's go to the chat, see if anything's in there. Oh yeah, here we go, Darby, beautiful. Yeah, give birth to your content. Yeah, it's basically, what it is? It's about giving permission to yourself to post about it, whatever it is. and it's not about digging out and mining all the negative stuff. That it's about the positive stuff, the stuff that you've done. It'll show you what skills you have that no one else has. There's not that many people who have. I mean, if I wanted to get into being like, hey, this is how you build a wedding photography business, I could get into that, because there's not many people who have done that and been successful in rural, middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. There's not a lot of people that have done that. I could do that if I wanted. There's all kinds of things I've been through that are very unique to me that I could share and talk about. So yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and it's a path to your content. It really is. And it opens up a whole world of content that you probably didn't even know you had. And you may think, this is the common thing. You may think, oh, yeah, I remember that. You just think it. Yeah. Okay, I got my timeline. Yeah, okay, moving next. Let's go. What's the next workshop? Let's go. Writing it down is the little secret key to this. And you're not going to believe me until you do it. And I know you're not going to believe me till you do it. You're not going to believe me till you do it. But once you do it, tell me, come to me and let me know. Send me a DM. I want to know. All right. So I'm just going to do a quick roundup of, let's see, I got into a little bit about last week was a person or a brand and how that ties into this. So I hope that makes sense for the people who have decided either you really have to make a decision about this. Am I going to be me? Am I putting my face on social media? Am I going to be me? Is it my name? Is it me on there? Am I posting me as me? Is it in my words? Or are you a brand posting as a brand, coming from that point, that angle of almost like selling? It's hard to break through that. So if you're still confused about that, please go back to last week and watch that one again, and maybe do the homework assignment, the pages, the workbook pages, because that will really help. And when we think about a brand, I don't know, am I putting in that category like the fake profile pictures as a brand? Even if, is that a fake account if it's not your name? I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough one. So you have to, if that's you have to think about it and probably be able to explain yourself a little bit on that one. And you don't have to tell me. You don't have to explain yourself to me, but you have to explain it to yourself so you understand why you're doing it that way instead of just putting yourself out there. And there's certainly plenty of people with plenty of reasons that they do that, because of, work, or I don't know. I can't imagine actually any reasons, but there are certainly people who have those reasons. So, just if that's your reason, then that's your reason. But you still want to have your timeline to inform you on that decision. And watch the last week's video if that's where you're struggling, putting either yourself out there or as a brand, because you need to figure that out before you go any further, honestly, if you're stuck. And I'm talking to the people who are stuck. If you're stuck, this is probably why. So we're breaking it down early in these workshops, and we're going to get into more stuff. We're going to be creating content very soon, but you can't create content if you're not informed with who you are, what you're about, what your value is, why you're worth following, why you're worth listening to, why you're worth putting yourself out there. So once you understand that, now we can create content. Now we can create content that will attract the people we want instead of just numbers. And that's not what I do. I'm not just telling you we're not here to grow our accounts that way here in this space. There's other people that do that, and they do it amazingly well. So listen to them when it comes to that kind of thing. That's not what I do. This is a little different approach, but you combine the two, you're good. You're good. You're going to do very well. Very well. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to put this up. This is where we're going next. Yes. We're going to go at 8:30, 30 minutes from now, 8:30 Eastern. I'm going to be on X. Okay. This is the link to take you to the space on X. Now, if you haven't done this before, if you haven't been on a space before, this is a place to come and you'll be welcome and you'll be able to try it out, okay, and explore it and see if it's something for you. It's audio only. You can choose to speak and say something if you want to, or you can just listen. You can also, you do need an X account. So if you don't have an X account, you can't come in and listen, but you can listen anonymously. So if you're concerned about someone seeing you, I don't know, people are weird, but I just like to say this is open to everyone. You know, you just have to show up and you're invited, and I'm inviting you. I'd love for you to be there, add to the discussion, ask questions. You can ask me anything. You can bring your story. You can bring your narrative. If you've kind of already done this work and you want to talk about it and share it, you can do that. If there's something from last week's discussion, person or a brand, that's piqued your interest, you can bring those ideas or anything else you want to talk about. We can get into anything. It's an open discussion and you're welcome to join and participate, or you can just listen. So I'd love to see you there. I'd love to have you there, or you can just put us in the background and have a relaxing evening listening. It's kind of like a little live podcast, live radio show. So it's a lot of fun. And I really enjoy these. All right, so it's been an hour. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed seeing people in the chat, sharing and asking questions and talking to each other. This is like, you know, where the connections happen, the connect part of this. So we're going to create, but we're also connecting, because that's where the power of social media really takes off. And if you haven't reached that, I posted about this today. If you haven't reached this level of networking and meeting people on social media yet, that you connect with, that you really are like, oh, wow, this is cool. We should be friends. Why aren't we friends? This is amazing. If you haven't had that yet, you know, this is the part that I'm going to hopefully lead you to, because it's what makes social media so awesome and so powerful, and really something that sets it apart from everything else in the internet, and why we like it so much. All right. So next week, we're going to meet your ideal follower. But first, you have to do the homework. So I'm going to show the homework again, or the goal for the week. I say homework because when I was in school, I hated homework. I never did it. I never did homework. I hated it. But then when I went to college, I really liked it. I don't know. And ever since, I've really liked it. I don't know. So I can't figure it out. But I say homework, but it's really just a goal. Set yourself a goal for the week. Create a post of your narrative. And you could say, this is my about me post. You could translate it that way. You can have it written out. You can write it, or it can be a video of you just speaking it. You can practice the video. You can write your story. You can write your narrative. And you can practice a few times and record a video of you talking about it. Or you can do a combination of the two, whatever you're more comfortable with. Me, last time I did it, a few weeks ago, I wrote it out and I shared a selfie of me. And that really did well. I pin that to my profile on occasion still. It's just a great way for people to meet you, because you meet people on social media. People are finding you all the time on social media. They might be coming across your profile randomly. They might be tuning into this live stream. You don't know anything about me if you've never been here before. You know, are you going to get what you need out of my bio? Is that going to get you what you need to know about me? I don't know. So doing this on a regular basis, every month or a couple months, posting your narrative, putting that out to people, is a great way to welcome new followers and really inspire people to follow you. So if you're struggling, write your story, write it again, write it again. Once you figure it out, you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why she made me do this. And I hope you'll share it with me. You can either send it to me in a DM, or you can tag me, or whatever you want to do. Anywhere. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on X, and I'm on YouTube. I mean, I guess you could do it on YouTube. You could do that you could make a short on YouTube, or I talked about this on Thursday, because I do a live stream on Thursdays as well, which is a more casual, fun, like Q&A type thing. So you can join that as well if you want, on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, to interact and to talk about this more. Because I usually get into the goal of the week on that day, just to show where I'm at, because I'm doing this too. I'm doing it with you. I'm doing it with you. Shoot. So oh man, I derailed myself. Oh yeah, posting it on YouTube, community posts. I talked about this on Thursday. The community posts are underutilized on YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel and you're trying to go after YouTube, start using community posts as your social media feed. So I'm going to be trying to do this more as well. But I forget all the time. I always forget. But basically, anytime you're posting content to your other social media, wherever your primary social media is, and that's also what we decided last week, is what's our primary platform that we're going to be going after. So if that's YouTube, you should be using the community post feature as your feed. You know, when we think about a Facebook feed, or we think about a Twitter X feed, you know, those posts that you scroll down and add to. So you want to think of those community posts as your social media feed. And when you put out a new video, you post about it. You share that as a community post. And those will get seen by your followers, or your subscribers, excuse me, if we're talking about YouTube. That will get seen. And then also new people might be shown these. The YouTube is changing a little bit of their direction, a little bit at a time, baby steps, but community posts are going to be a big part of that. And you're already starting to see those. If you go into open your feed for YouTube, you'll notice, observe where the community posts show up on there. Sometimes they're above the fold, which is pretty amazing. So your video thumbnail, yes, is important, but I think posting a community post about it is just as important these days. So think about that. And you could post your narrative in a community post if YouTube's your main platform. And I will recap that real quick, because last week I said we're a person or a brand. What is all that? But I really got into figuring out what platform you should be focusing on. You, not me. Me, I have my platform. I've already done this. I know which platform I like, I enjoy, I like posting on. I have great engagement because it's like, this is where I want to hang out. But you have to figure out which one it is for you. And it's not the one you think, probably. It could be a completely different one. So if you're struggling to figure out which platform to put your efforts on, and you should pick one starting out, or if you're trying to refocus, just pick one. You can always cross post. There's nothing wrong with that. But focusing your energy on one is a great idea. And so that's talked about also last week in the workshop. So watch that if that's where you're struggling as well. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to wrap this up, and we're going to go to the Afterspace in about 20 minutes. I'll put the link for that up again. So I hope you come and join that. And when 8:30 rolls around, you just go to this page and you will see the space to join. And I hope you do. So the link for this is also below the video, wherever you're watching. And let's see, did I make a fancy outro? I didn't. All right, so I will just say, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. I hope this sets you off on a great trajectory for your social media content for the week. Can't wait to see what you come up with. And I hope you share your posts with me. So have a great night, everybody. And I hope to see you at the Afterspace. Bye.